Russian police raid Prigozhin's house in Russia. This is Undiluted News. Mikey Bones reporting. Russian media said a police raid on a property belonging to Yevgeny Prigozhin, the head of the Wagner mercenary group. Prigozhin, long considered a military asset for the Russian President Vladimir Putin, had staged a mini mutiny last month when his forces took over a military headquarters in a key Russian city and started marching towards Moscow. But Prigozhin ultimately called off his men and agreed to go into exile in neighboring Belarus. Well, it is said that he is no longer in Belarus, and it seems Putin is hunting for him after it is said police raided his house, apparently looking for him. And last week I mentioned that he was a dead man walking, and it's only going to be a matter of time before something bad happens to him. Over in Jamaica, attorney at law Emilia Shields has been calling for the reinstatement of the common law charge of criminal libel in the wake of an upsurge in complaints related to social media. She was also responding to attorney Gavin Goff's claim that law currently exists but needs to be revised and updated. Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson days earlier said that there is a growing trend which sees some people using social media platforms to create fear, spread chaos and disorder, and they're also slandering people by making up stories that are not true. Meanwhile, a man has been charged after his attempted robbery of a gas station employee on Slipe Road in Kingston after it was foiled by a security officer who opened fire, causing the would-be robber to flee on foot. O'Shane White, a 23-year-old laborer from 4th Avenue in Vineyardtown in Kingston, has been charged with assault with intent to rob, unlawful possession of a firearm and ammunition, and using a firearm to commit a felony. According to authorities, in halfway through about 5:11 p.m. on Wednesday, June 14, White and another individual on a motorbike pulled up to a petrol station and brandished a firearm at a worker and demanded money. She drew back from both males and informed the security guard, who reacted by opening fire at them. Both men fled in an attempt to escape, but White, along with his handgun, fell, forcing him to flee on foot, leaving the gun behind. The police were called and a Smith & Wesson Springfield pistol with 12 rounds magazine was discovered. On Wednesday, July 5th, he was detained and charged as a result. Meanwhile, an ex-soldier accused of using a gun to rob several people at a shop in Hector's River District in Portland on Thursday, June 29, has been arrested. Charged with robbery with aggravation, illegal possession of firearm, using an illegal weapon to commit a felony, and assault at common law is 21-year-old Craig J. Price of Blacksmith Lane in Seaford in St. Thomas. Reports are that about 1:15 p.m., Price and another masked man armed with handguns entered the shop and robbed people of cash and cellular phones. They then fired shots before escaping in a motor car. However, no one was injured. A report was made to the police and Price was arrested and charged on Wednesday, July 5th, and he's set to appear in the Port Antonio Parish Court on Friday, July 7th, which is today. The police in St. James are probing the extrajudicial killing of a suspected animal thief. The body of two men were found with bullet wounds about 5 o'clock yesterday morning in Content District in Adelphi. Deputy Superintendent Aaron Samuels, head of operations in St. James, said that the men are suspected goat thieves based on the evidence found at the crime scene. One of the men was found outside of the vehicle along the roadway, and another was found on the driver's seat of the vehicle with a goat in the back of the vehicle, he said. The police high command has expressed concern over the rising number of vigilante killings on the island in recent weeks. At least 4 such killings have been recorded since last week. 2 men were shot, one fatally, in a drive-by attack in Hanover yesterday afternoon. The victims are unidentified. It's reported that shortly after midday, the 2 victims were traveling along the Ramble Main Road in a white Nissan AD wagon when a group of men traveling in 2 vehicles, a black Toyota Voxy and a white Toyota Axia motor car, drove up beside them. The occupants opened fire on the AD wagon, hitting the 2. The passenger died on the spot while the driver was taken to hospital for treatment. The Manchester police said a man whose head was found in Porus, Manchester yesterday morning was accused of terrorizing residents, particularly women, in his community for several weeks. The head of 35-year-old Rohan Barrett, otherwise called Black Seed, was found in a bag at a fruit stall on the side of the road at Whitney Turns in Porus. According to the police, the primary scene of the murder has not been located and no information is available on the torso of Barrett. They confirmed that Barrett was a suspect in a case of rape, assault at common law, and burglary committed in February. They said he was terrorizing the entire community. He left, went to other parts of Clarendon. He terrorized them there. He left, then went to Kingston, did the same. Then he reportedly left and returned to Porus. He left Porus community after the raping incident and returned earlier this week. On to sports. For the first time in years, there are uncertainties about the top contenders for the women's sprint at the Jamaica Athletics Administrative Association, the national championship that got underway at the National Stadium yesterday. The only safe bet could be Shericka Jackson retaining her sprint double and a third straight 200 meters title, given the absence of her two main rivals, which is five-time world 100 meters champion Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce and two-time Olympic Games sprint double champion Elaine Thompson-Herah. Fraser-Pryce is set to make her first appearance in spikes this year at the national championship, while Thompson-Herah only ran her first 100 meters of the season a week ago. So we're still not sure if all three will take part this weekend, but if they are there, you can expect some upset to be there. And in the men, we will see the 100 meters kickoff this evening. It could be anybody's race. And the three men to represent Jamaica at the World Athletics Championship in Budapest, Hungary in mid-August could all be under 23. Akeem Blake has set the pace with 4 races under 10 seconds and topped by a personal best of 9.89 seconds, while standing in his way could be Oblique Seville, who was fourth at the World Championship last year and who it is reported is now over an injury that interrupted his preparation. Seville is unbeaten with a season's best of 9.95 seconds this year. There is also significant expectation from two schoolboys, Kingston College Bowoji Nkrumah and Herbert Morrison DeAndre Daly, who some expect to force their way onto this 100 meters team. Nkrumah has not raced much since his blistering national under-20 record of 9.99 seconds at the Boys and Girls Championship after pulling up in the first round of the Carifta Games in the Bahamas. Since coming back from injury, he has run twice, clocking 10.42 seconds and 10.34 seconds, and it will be seen whether he has fully recovered. Daly, on the other hand, has lowered his personal best to 10.08 seconds, making him the second fastest Jamaican ever at age 18, and under the guidance of Coach Claude Grant, he could run even faster this evening. Among the elders, there is still Johan Blake, who they have to beat, and Julian Forte, who could upset the youngsters, but we have to wait and see this evening. On to football. Reggae Boys head coach Jaime Hallgrimsson said he is not bothered by Mikel Antonio's goal drought, insisting he is pleased with the striker's overall contribution to the team. Antonio, who plays for West Ham United in the English Premier League, is considered one of the marquee players of the Jamaica squad. Hallgrimsson said he believes Antonio brings out the best in his teammates. He said whoever scores the goal for the team doesn't matter as long as they are being scored. Jamaica, who finished as runner-up in Group A behind the U.S., will face Group D winners Guatemala in the quarterfinals in Cincinnati, Ohio this Sunday. And this is going to prove just how good or how deep the Jamaica team has become under this new coach. And if you ever miss the news on this radio station, please go to YouTube and type in JAMAICA Undiluted News. Listen, like, share, and subscribe to keep it going. That's going to be news and sports on your favorite radio station. My name is Mikey Bones. Have a good weekend, everybody. I gone.